Hi, my name is Ming, and I'm going to be walking through with you step by step on how you can set up your UV lens sensor so you can start monitoring the UV at your school. So this is the kit that you should have received. Let's take a look at what's inside. So first of all, you've got your mounting bracket for mounting your sensor outside. You've got a quick start guide, which will guide you through the process of setting it up. And you've got your outdoor sensor. Let's just put this on the table. So firstly, we want to set up our outdoor sensor. So let's take a look inside here. We've got everything you need to set this up outside, but we'll first start off with the sensor itself. So this piece of hardware here is what sits outside and measures everything to do with the environment, including the UV. So we've got a little wind meter, a little solar panel, and something to mount it to the pole. So step one is to mount the wind vane, and this tells the sensor which direction the wind is coming from. And inside your box, you should find a little package with the wind vane. So just unpackage this. Cool. So what you want to do is align this key slot with the key slot inside the wind vane and push it in. Cool. And once this is in, you want to tighten the screw using the little provided hex key. So just insert the hex key into the little hex slot and tighten it up. Cool. Nice and stable. So now you've installed the wind vane, next step is to put the batteries in. Inside your kit, you should receive a packet of AA rechargeable batteries. So first of all, locate the battery compartment in the sensor. For this, you'll need a Phillips screwdriver, which I have handy here. Undo the compartment. Make sure you don't lose the screw. Give it a bit of a nudge. Great. Now you've got access to the battery compartment. Install the AA batteries. Cool. And use some box cutters. Cool. We've got our batteries. Let's install it into the sensor. And if you've installed it properly, you should see a little red light on the bottom of the sensor. Great. So now what we want to do is put the battery compartment back on, put the screw back in, you'll also notice that after about 10 seconds or so, the red light should go off, and if you watch it, about every 16 seconds, it should flash once. Right. Great, so now our batteries are installed. Now the final part is to install the mounting pole. Inside your kit, you should see this stainless steel tube. This is attached directly into the sensor, so you can mount this onto a larger pole on the side here. So to install this, first of all you want to remove this little plastic cap. To remove it, you want to twist it counterclockwise and just pull it out. Take your stainless steel pole and find a side which has the two grooves at the edge. And you want to align these grooves to the little plastic edge inside the sensor. What I'd like to do is insert the pole, give it a twist, and you'll hear it click in. Cool, so once that's clicked in, you want to put the plastic ring over, align it with the slot, push it right in, and twist it clockwise to lock it in place. And this should be pretty stable now. Great. So that's our outdoor sensor assembled. The last step you want to do is just remove the little black cover over the solar panel. So now you're ready to mount the outdoor sensor outside. So we've got a few mounting options for you. You can either find an existing pole, if you've got one, for example an old aerial antenna pole, or it could be a flag pole, and you can mount this using the provided U-clamps. Alternatively, if you don't have an existing pole, we've also provided a universal mounting bracket for you. You can either mount this on a horizontal surface or on a vertical surface, simply by adjusting the angle of the bracket. So we'll walk you through the process of mounting the sensor onto a pole and then mounting the universal bracket, if you're using this, onto a surface. So now to mount the sensor onto the universal mounting pole. First of all, you want to pre-assemble the U-clamp just by putting the two brackets in. And just thread the nuts in just a tiny bit, just to hold it in place, but not all the way through. Alright. I find it easiest is to lay the universal mounting pole onto a flat surface. You can insert one end of the U-clamp onto the pole and just slide in the sensor into the other end. Hold it in place and then just tighten the nuts with your fingers. Okay, now you want to tighten this all the way using a spanner. So just grab a spanner and then just tighten it up a bit more so it's nice and rigid. Great, now our sensor is nice and secure onto our universal mounting pole. We've got two options to mount this, either onto a roof or onto the side of a wall. So you can loosen these two bolts up and you can adjust the angle of the universal mounting pole. So for example, if you want to mount it at the side of a wall, you want it sort of at this angle here. If you want to mount this on a flat roof, then you set it to this angle. So now we'll show you how you can attach this onto a flat surface. For this, just create some space. We have this block of wood for demonstration. Cool. So first of all, you want to make sure you set the right angle on the pole, so find the angle you want, and tighten the bolts up with your fingers first. Make sure it's nice and vertical. Cool. And then tighten the rest up using a spanner. Great. This is not going anywhere anytime soon. So within your package, you should have received the 4 roofing screws, which you can use to mount this either to a roof or to timber or any sort of wood. Take this up. To install these, you will need a 5/16" attachment on the cordless drill. So this attachment is not included in the package. So it should fit the roofing screw. Cool. So simply find the spot that you want to drill it at. Let's just move this to the side so we don't drill into the table. Take your cordless drill with the roofing screw. Cool. And make sure you go slow. There you go, that's one. That's nicely fixed. Let's do a second one. So make sure you start off slow. Great. That's 2. So now you just want to put the last 2 on. Great. This is nice and secure to either your roof or cladding or wherever you decide to install the sensor. The last thing you want to do after you've mounted it to the roof is you want to adjust the direction of the sensor so that the solar panel here is facing northwards. So you can either use a compass or I just use my phone, Google Maps, and find out which direction north is. And now you can loosen up the sensor a little bit here, loosen these bolts up, not too much because you don't want it to fall down. Loosen it so you can twist the sensor. Let's loosen it a bit more. Cool. So you want to twist it to the direction that you want it to. For example, if this way is north, twist it this way, and just retighten the bolts. So the reason why you want this facing north is because the solar panel needs to face the sun during most of the day. Because the sun rises from the east and sets in the west, it will travel in the southern hemisphere from east to west, passing through north. So the final step is to install your indoor receiver. So out of the box, you'll find the receiver itself. You'll need the Ethernet cable, which is also provided. And finally, the power adapter. So you'll want to take the indoor receiver to the server room. Locate the switch that you want to plug the receiver into. So we'll use this one for now. Plug the other end of the Ethernet cable into the receiver. Now you want to power the receiver, so take your power adapter, plug it into the wall, and plug it into the receiver. So once you've powered on the receiver and plugged into the network, it's time to find the IP address. You can use whatever tools you're familiar with, or the IP tool software included in the CD. For now, I'm going to assume that you've already found the IP address, so what you need to do next is just type the IP address into the browser. In this case, it's this. If it's being connected to the network correctly, this configuration screen should show up. If it does, then it's successfully connected. If not, then make sure that the receiver has been allowed on the network. Now, if you've verified that this works, the next step is to create a Weather Underground account to associate this receiver with. So, create a new tab, visit wonderground.com. Cool, so once you're there, you need to create a new profile. For me, I've already created a profile and I've already logged in. So, after you've logged in, go into My Profile, click on My Weather Stations, and then click on Add New Personal Weather Station. Cool. So first of all, type in the location of your weather station. In this case, we are at 70 Simon Street. And then this should be calculated automatically, the elevation, but you do need to place this value in, which is how high the sensor is above the ground. Once you're satisfied, click Verify Location, and then fill in a few details. For example, for us, we are on Simon Street. Organization Stark 64 Limited. You can choose to put your website in if you wish, generally your school website. And for the station hardware, choose Ambient Weather 1400 IP. Great.
Just this is up to you whether or not you want to receive the notifications. I'm going to keep this ticked because if my sensor goes down, they'll send me an email. And no, I don't want to receive the newsletter. Cool. So once this has successfully been submitted, in a moment, you should see that you will be assigned an ID and password. Let's give it some time. Great. So I have this ID assigned to me and this password. So what you'll need to do is copy this station ID. Well, first go back into the configuration page, go to Weather Network, paste station ID into the station ID field. You can leave everything else as default, and then copy and paste the station key and password to the password. Now hit apply. It'll say submit configuration, just click OK to continue. Now you'll need to go onto the calibration. Once you're on the calibration page, you will need to add a value to the wind direction offset. That's because we are in the southern hemisphere and we've had to mount our sensor in the opposite direction. Therefore, we need to rotate the coordinate system by 180 degrees. So just put 180 into wind direction offset and hit apply. Click OK. Great, so that's it. Now we'll check the sensor station to make sure all the lights are on correctly.
After a few minutes, if everything has been set up correctly, then your outdoor and server light should be on. The outdoor light means that it's communicating with the outdoor sensor, and the server light means that it's sending the data to the servers. So if any of these lights are not on, please consult the troubleshooting section of our manual. Hi, my name is Ming, and I'm going to be walking through with you step by step on how you can set up your UV lens sensor so you can start monitoring the UV at your school. So this is the kit that you should have received. Let's take a look at what's inside. So first of all, you've got your mounting bracket for mounting your sensor outside. You've got a quick start guide, which will guide you through the process of setting it up. And you've got your outdoor sensor. Let's just put this on the table. So firstly, we want to set up our outdoor sensor. So let's take a look inside here. We've got everything you need to set this up outside, but we'll first start off with the sensor itself. So this piece of hardware here is what sits outside and measures everything to do with the environment, including the UV. So we've got a little wind meter, a little solar panel, and something to mount it to the pole. So step one is to mount the wind vane, and this tells the sensor which direction the wind is coming from. And inside your box, you should find a little package with the wind vane. So just unpackage this. Cool. So what you want to do is align this